So without a governing body running British mosques, disputes can simply go on and on, as Muslims in Luton have found to their cost.
Today's prayer meeting followed the troubles last night when supporters of the Imam tried to break into the building. Extra police had been drafted to the troubled mosque after a judge ordered the...
In 1992, the Muslim community of Luton hit the media spotlight when there was a standoff between the Imam and the mosque committee.
We were laughed at by other members of the community, and rightly so. We had built this massive place. We had a big center up the road, and still some of us were praying inside and some were praying outside, making a spectacle of ourselves.
Luton's first Muslim migrants arrived in the 50s and 60s, when men like Akbar Khan came from the Kashmiri region of Pakistan.
Luton was an attractive place to come to work because everybody who came over knew someone down here, very close to the airport, and Vauxhall provided very good wage packet at the end of the week.
After a stint at Vauxhall's and the post office, Khan turned to taxi driving. Like many others, his plan wasn't always to stay.
We will work for a while, earn some money, come back, set up a business, build a house, and get on with life back in Azad Kashmir.
Those early migrants kept in touch with the old country and each other through their religion. They clubbed together and bought a terraced house, and then another, and finally a third. When families joined the men in the mid-70s, the community decided it was time for a more permanent solution. They started to raise money to build a purpose-built mosque and community centre.
It's a working class community where people would save £50 at the end of the week. And out of those 50, perhaps 15 or 20 would go towards the mosque project and the project up the road.
The mosque appointed an imam to guide the community and help coordinate support for the mosque project. As the figurehead of a £1 million project, Imam Abdul Chishti developed a loyal following and huge personal authority.
People virtually gave money to him, trusting that he is the man, whatever is coming out of his mouth is truth.
Building began in 1982, and to keep some continuity, the mosque committee decided to postpone elections and stay on beyond their allotted 2 years. But within another year, things started to turn sour.
When people would like to ask questions about running of the mosque, about the funds, and about when elections would be held, they would not get any answer out of that management committee, or for that matter the imam, who was very much the linchpin of the whole thing.
Akbar Khan wasn't alone in his concern about the power wielded by the imam.
Mr. Chishti was himself mandate, he was himself imam, he was himself trustees, and everything he was controlling himself.
The trust say Mr. Chishti has had no management role at any time, and that the decision to become a trust was taken by a properly constituted AGM. So members see it otherwise.
And then it dawned upon us and that, look, there are no elections, there is this trust for life. These people are owners for life, managers for life.
The mosque was finally completed in 1985, but with Chishti's strong religious influence, challenging the imam or the committee was a risky business.
I remember in 1990, month of Ramadan, it was a Friday prayer. There was more than 1,000 people in the mosque when I raised this question, and I said, from last 10 years, there is no accountability, there is no election, and I feel strongly there is something wrong going on. His supporters come and try to fight me, and there was a number of occasions it happens.
People would stand up from various corners and shout us down and threaten us with violence.
One occasion in Friday, we had a fight in the mosque, no doubt, in the mosque downstairs hall.
It was a harrowing experience. We were treated like criminals and vagabonds. How dare we challenge them, righteous people? How dare we stand up in the mosque on a Friday?
Akbar and Muhammad's stand began slowly to gain the support of other members. By May 1992, 700 of them decided they'd had enough. They elected a new committee to run the mosque, which then tried to find a way of working with the Imam.
We did request him that, look, we have got this total support of the Muslim community, and we won the election, and we wanted to run within proper constitutions.
His reply was, no, he is not willing to recognize these elections, and he's not willing to work with us.
So next day, we simply physically removed them from the mosque.
But Imam Chishti wasn't about to go quietly.
The Imam, ousted from the central mosque, led lunchtime prayers in the car park while his opponents held a service inside.
I think that now we have tried our best and they don't want, and I think let's decide the court what is going to happen.
The group of 15 people who have been holding power for all these years are accountable to none.
Imam Chishti refused to back down and took his battle to the High Court in London. With no higher religious authority to turn to, the two sides fought it out for another 5 years at a cost to the community of £100,000.
As a result of that terrible exercise and a lot of expense and a lot of grief and a lot of anxieties which the community has gone through, we have this constitution where hopefully nobody will be able to impose themselves either in form of a person or in form of a group of people to govern the affairs of the mosque to the exclusion of others.
In 1997, the High Court ruled that Luton Mosque should hold regular elections and organise a set of rules to limit the power of the Imam and committee over the membership.
The whole idea of the mosque, it should be a balance between the religious authority, that is the Imam, and what we might call the administrative authority, that is the council.
One of the first jobs of the new council or committee was to ensure that donations were properly accounted for. And although the court ruled that those in charge of the mosque before 1992 should hand over accounts, none have yet appeared. So no one knows how much money was raised or spent.
We don't have any idea, and the community at large doesn't have any idea as to what happened to that money and how that money was spent.
Mr. Chishti still runs a community centre built whilst he was in charge of the mosque. A spokesman for Mr. Chishti said the facility was open to anyone who applied to the committee, but some local Muslims feel excluded.
He is the chief trustee and he enjoys so much power. The community is by and large excluded from using that place.
We've been trusting him. He's an Imam, he's leading a prayers, he's teaching our children, he's performing other Islamic duties, but he betrayed us very badly.
British Muslims can find themselves powerless if their Imam decides to behave badly and simply ignore his congregation. But abuse of office can be even more difficult to control in the small local mosques.